Hello, how are you doing on this fine day? I feel like I should add a disclaimer. I've just had a lot of Starbucks caramel macchiato coffee, so if I'm talking very fast and sounding really weird, that's why. Today, I'm going to share with you a simple basic hair tutorial for how to render and paint hair really realistically. What I'm doing is I'm starting with the basic silhouette of the hair, and I just think that this works best. I know some people love to do line art and outline every strand, but I just think that you don't have to do that if you don't want to, and you can get something that looks really gorgeous, really quick by using just a thick, soft brush. As always, these are the Ahmed Al Duri brushes that you can get on Gumroad. The link will be in the description. I just want to say thank you for all the nice comments on my previous video and all the people who sent me messages on other platforms telling me that they wanted to see either a hair or skin or eyes tutorial. This is the hair tutorial today. I may do skin or eyes next. Let me know which one you would prefer to see and I'll get on it. What I'm doing here is, when it comes to very pale white hair, there is sort of a combination of ash grey tones and slightly brown neutral tones that are going to be going on. I think when someone is a beginner, they make the mistake of thinking that very pale hair is going to have yellowy blonde undertones, and that usually is not the case, unless if you've got really honey blonde hair. But even in that case, the colours are going to be quite neutral, quite desaturated, and what I like to do is I like to get my thick brush and I turn on the shape dynamics so you've got this really nice line quality, and I go in and I just chisel where there is the most shadow, and it gives this look of three-dimensionality to the hair. I'm going in, and obviously because the light source is coming from, the light source would be coming from where we're stood, shining onto the back of the model, so obviously it's not coming from above, so the top of her head is going to be relatively in shadow. If you're a beginner, I would recommend really trying to remember where your light source is coming from when you're drawing, especially with hair, because so much of what makes hair look realistic isn't actually drawing the individual strands, it's the body and the luminosity of it. Because hair is obviously going to have a shiny texture, unless if you are doing more textured hair types like 4C hair or locks. And if you want a specific tutorial for black hair, I would absolutely love to do that, because the process is completely different to this and so fun, and if you haven't tried it before, I can't recommend it enough. It is the best. You can see what I've done is around the edges of the hair, where the hair is sort of caught up in the wind and it's like very fair, it looks almost translucent. So I would say that when it comes to fair hair especially, bear in mind that any stray flyaway hairs are going to be translucent. They're not going to have this opacity. I'm going and adding in rendering around the shoulder. I think I really love the look of this reference because you can tell it's been taken with flash, and I think that's why the outline of her shoulder looks quite dark in comparison to the rest of her, and I think that's also what has made her hair look so luminous, the fact that this has been taken with flash. I'm going in and I'm sort of loosely defining those areas where the hair curls under. What I really love is to get the body and the colours and the shape of the hair right, but actually leave it quite undone and loose, and so you can see all of those painterly brush strokes. If you're a beginner especially, I don't want you to get too caught up in trying to make individual hairs look realistic. I think that you just need the overall idea. If you are doing individual flyaway hairs and the hair is against a backdrop like this, I just do them around the edge, and especially with very white hair, it almost creates this like halo effect that is just gorgeous. As you can see, I've done a little colour palette selection just sort of illustrating that the tones that you find in blonde hair maybe might not be the ones that you would expect. And if you're a beginner, what I find really fun is you can find a reference image, you can go into filters and you can click on the mosaic tool, and then it basically just gives you a color palette to work with or to look at if you ever feel like you're lost and like the colors aren't looking realistic. I still do this sometimes when I get a really difficult commission. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting in color dodge and overlay layers, especially around the edge of the hair, because I really wanted it to have that glow that you get when you have strong lighting on fair hair. I also put in, I don't know if you can tell, I put in a subtle blue tone around the edges. I wanted to play up the blue in some places and play up the yellow in others. Blonde hair is so fun to play with because you have this combination of cool tones and warm tones. If I can give some advice, it would be that the warm tones would be where the hair sits against the skin, because you might get some subsurface scattering of the light bouncing onto the skin and then bouncing off onto the hair. And because of this dark background, the translucent bits of hair look more blue. I'm sharpening some areas because I really wanted to define the look of those sort of impressionistic brush strokes that aren't perfect. But I think that's what's so fun about a painting or an image. If you think it looks realistic from a distance, you zoom in and actually you find it's really not. I'm putting in some yellow tones for a kind of vintage effect, and then I'm going to do what I always do, which is put in a noise layer as well. I only do about 2.00 or 2.49, and that's usually enough. It just gives a lovely photorealistic appearance, and I think we're pretty much done at this point. So here we are, here's the finished product. I hope that you guys enjoyed this very quick hair tutorial. It took me 30 minutes to draw this hair. You can probably see that on the clock down in the bottom right hand corner. So hopefully this will help you to draw really realistic hair really fast in a no bullshit way where you're not stressing over individual hairs. If you want to see another hair tutorial, hit me up in the comments. If you want to see something completely different, let me know. I've also had some requests to do an art review where I review the art that you send in to me and give you any tips and constructive criticism. I would love to do that. So leave a like on this video if you liked it, subscribe to get new videos from me every Saturday, and leave a comment down below telling me what you liked most and what you want me to do next. Okay. Thanks very much. I'm gonna go drink more coffee now. I will see you next week. Bye.